Welcome back to our question app. We are starting off where we left off, which was we had one route defined, which was the index or the home route. It looks like this. We're actually going to be changing this to look more like a question app now. So let us begin. We'll also create some new routes and pass in some information into those routes. That sounds weird. We'll see what that means in a few seconds. But also know you could fast forward these videos if you would so choose, or you could slow them down. All in the options. Let us continue. First, in our index, what we want to do in our app.js is define a new route. Now, I'm going to create an array here on line 4. I'll call it something random like questions. We'll throw in our array. One could be who is the president, what matters to you, how much is 2 times 2, what color is purple, blah. Anyway, so we got some random stuff. Next thing we want to do is define a new route. So here's our home route. Under there, we want to do a new get route. We'll call this one /cards. We do a res.render, and we're going to call this card. We need to probably make in our views a file called card.js. Within card, we want to do similar to what we did here. We can copy this stuff, add it there. It should actually be card.pug. Rename that card.pug. So we have card.pug. We got our new route at the route cards index. We're going to finally change this. Title will be question app. Body, the h1 in the paragraph 2 having a header. Within our header, we have h1 question app, and then outside of our header, we'll do section. We'll give it an ID of stuff h2, welcome learner, and then we'll have footer, app for learning. We'll save that. So we created our array, which is here in app. It is called questions. What if we want to pass that into here somehow? How would we do that? In card, if we change this to learning cards, we want a header. Within there, we could do an h1 called cards. And then outside of the header, we can do a section, also with ID stuff. Within that section, we'll have a UL. Within that UL, we'll do a loop through our questions, which is each, what did we call it? Questions? So it's already called questions. So we'll say each question in questions. We want to do a list item, and we'll assign to it question. So this will basically loop through our questions array and list out each one as it loops through it. Let's go back here. So where we're rendering card, here we could print out a message. We haven't provided it yet, but we will. If we go back to our app.js, we can specify a second parameter, toss in here, message, and say something like, what are the questions? Save that. Let's just see if any of this is even working so far. So it's clearly listening. Put that there. And then go to localhost 3000. Welcome learner. Let's go to /cards. So each question in questions, length of undefined. So we're getting some sort of undefined. Indentation has made things hard for us. If we look at here, we can see our indentation is off. This should be out one. Let's try this real quick. Let's go back here. Cannot read property length of undefined. Let's go back here. So we would need to pass in questions here, like so. Now that we're passing in questions into our card's route, we should be able to access it on the card.pug file. So let's try this once more. It's clearly listening. Let's go back. Can't get card, but it can get cards. And as you guys can see, cards. Who is the president? What matters to you? How much is 2 times 2? What color is purple? What are the questions? So we're able to print out. The message should probably go here. There we go. What are the questions? So here we're learning at least how to pass in values, and we did that through creating a questions array, then creating this new route where we were able to even pass in what are the questions, and we access that using the message variable here, which prints out the value, what are the questions. We could simply use res.locals as well. Instead of passing in message here, we could take that, go here, do res.locals, call it message, and pass in our message. Here, this would work exactly the same. It's yelling at us because of this. Save it, try it again. It's listening. Go back, everything should work the same. So let us see what's going on. We can go to 3000. Can we go to cards? And we can. Everything stayed the same. So we can do this or keep it how it was, which was like that. Go with that one for now. Save it. We can also use conditionals to say stuff like, let's go back into card. After our question printed out, we can do right under it if, should actually be where the outside where the UL is, and say something like if help. So if there's like a hint or something, let us do this. Hint, colon. And this is how we could pass in our hint. Similar to $, interpolation. Here it is hash. Under all that, we can do our footer, which can have a paragraph that says a cool question app. Save it. Let us turn this server off, turn it back on. Let's look at our home page. Let's just look at what we have done. So we have question app, welcome learner for learning. We can go to our cards, and we have stuff we passed in, our footer. I think we should be okay for now. This one was really just learning how to pass stuff in. We haven't utilized our hint, but I promise we will in the next video. We'll make it to where we have a few questions and answers, and depending on where we're at, either a question or an answer, we will either provide help. Should have called this help. But yes, we will utilize all this, and in the next video we will implement better solutions as far as not having to repeat our code as much every time we create a new route. We will learn how to better organize our routes and just overall how to make this way better, because right now it's still not really doing anything. But at least you guys learned how to pass in information, which was so helpful once I learned. But stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next video.